Okay, so have you ever thought about what it takes to be the voice for someone who can't see?
It's a pretty amazing skill, actually.
Yeah, today we're going to be diving into the world of audio description and giving you some tips to ace that job interview.
It's such a cool feel. I mean, you're literally painting pictures with words.
Yeah.
And get this, the demand for skilled audio describers, it's seriously booming right now.
And to help us really dig deep, we've got an incredible tool on hand, RoleCatcher.
Which uses AI to give you a real advantage in prepping for these interviews. But before we get into all of that, let's just take a moment to really understand what it means to be an audio describer.
Yeah, because you're essentially the eyes for someone who can't see. So how would you describe like a movie scene or a play or even just a photograph to someone?
That's exactly it. You've got to capture not just what's there, the objects and what's happening, but the emotion, the atmosphere, those subtle things.
It's about bringing those visuals to life through sound.
100%.
Okay, so let's say you've got that passion. You're a natural storyteller. How do you actually prove that to a hiring manager?
Right. Let's get into some of those real deal interview questions.
Because they can be tough.
They can be.
Okay, first up, can you explain your experience with audio description? Now, what if I don't have years of experience? I'm sure a lot of people listening are wondering the same thing.
I bet. This is where you really want to focus on those transferable skills. Have you ever had to, I don't know, teach someone a complicated task?
Right, like maybe showing someone how to bake a cake or something.
Exactly. Or maybe you're the one who always tells the most captivating stories. Think about it. Those are actually audio description skills in action.
It's about connecting those dots for them.
Mm.
Love it. Okay, so here's one that I bet they love to throw at people. How do you approach creating audio description tracks for, say, a TV show?
Ooh, yeah, this is where they want to peek inside your process.
See how your brain works.
For sure. I'd say break it down for them. Would you start by doing research?
To really understand what you're watching.
Totally. And then how would you describe it without, going overboard and overwhelming the listener?
Right, you don't want to talk over everything.
Definitely not. And do you like to script it all out or go with the flow a bit more? Sharing those things gives them a feel for your style.
It's like you're a narrator, but you don't want to step on the actual dialogue or anything.
You got it. And don't be afraid to mention any software you're comfy with, audio editing tools, accessibility guidelines you follow. Those are gold.
Show them you're thinking ahead. Okay, next question. How do you ensure your descriptions are accessible to a wide range of audiences? This one feels super important.
Oh, it's crucial because you have to remember that visual impairment isn't one size fits all.
You're right.
Someone might have low vision, maybe perceiving light and shadows, while someone else might be totally blind and relying on you completely for the picture.
So how do you tailor your descriptions for all those different needs?
It's about clear language, for sure, avoiding jargon, and being super mindful of those subtle details that would matter. For someone with low vision, maybe you mentioned the colors, the lighting, but for someone who can't see any of that.
You're going to focus more on the spatial stuff where things are in relation to each other.
Exactly.
Okay, this is where I think RoleCatcher can really come in handy.
100%. Imagine having this AI that's looked at thousands of interview responses, right? So it knows what sticks, what works.
So it can tailor your answers to what interviewers are actually looking for.
That's the magic. Okay, ready for a bit of a curveball.
Hit me.
Can you describe a time you had to make a tough decision while creating audio descriptions?
Ooh, I feel like they're trying to see your thought process here.
Totally. It's all about showing you can handle the pressure, make those judgment calls. Think about a time you had to find that balance. Enough detail to be vivid, but not so much that it overwhelms.
Or maybe there was a hilarious visual gag. But how do you describe it without ruining the punchline? That's an art in itself.
It is. Have a specific example ready. Walk them through your reasoning, and bam, you've shown them you've got what it takes.
Okay, let's tackle this one. How do you stay up to date with all the new technology in audio description? Things change so fast these days.
Absolutely. This is your time to geek out a little, talk about blogs you follow, organizations you're part of, even online forums where you're chatting with other audio describers. It all shows that dedication.
So you're not just waiting for someone to tell you what's new, you're out there seeking it out.
You got it.
Okay, next question, and this feels like a big one. Can you describe a time when you had to adapt your audio descriptions for a really specific audience? I feel like that's all about empathy.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine describing a kid's cartoon one day and then like a super intense historical drama the next. Totally different vibes, right?
You can't use big, complicated words if you're describing for a younger audience.
Nope. And for a historical piece, you might need to do some extra research just to make sure you're describing the costumes and the setting accurately.
It's like becoming a chameleon of language.
Right. Have a story ready to go that shows you can adjust your style, and you'll nail this one.
And remember, if you're drawing a blank, RoleCatcher is there to help. It's got those tailored examples and feedback on how you're delivering your answers.
Right. It's like having a personal coach. Okay, next question gets at those people skills. How do you work with clients to make sure their audio description needs are met?
Because you're not just off doing your own thing. You're collaborating with producers, directors, maybe even the actors themselves.
Exactly. It's all about clear communication, active listening, asking good questions, being open to feedback. Highlight those times you've navigated tricky relationships in the past.
Even if it's just a group project in school or a tough customer at your part-time job.
It all counts.
Yeah.
Okay, this next one's a classic. Can you describe a time you had to work under pressure to create audio descriptions?
Because deadlines are real.
They are. They want to see if you crack or if you've got systems in place.
So time management, prioritizing tasks, those are key.
Definitely. Maybe you're even the type of person who works best under pressure. Whatever it is, have that specific story ready.
And don't just say, oh yeah, I got it done. Tell them how you handle it. The strategies, the late nights, that feeling of, whew, nailed it when you deliver.
Yes, show them that dedication. And don't forget, if you get stuck, RoleCatcher has a whole library of responses and strategies for tricky questions, just like this one.
I love it. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. This next one's crucial. How do you ensure your audio descriptions are culturally sensitive and respectful? That feels more important than ever.
It really is. And it's about more than just knowing facts. They want to see your heart, your sensitivity. Have you ever had to be extra mindful of cultural differences? Maybe on a trip, a new friend group? Share what you learned.
Because you're describing a world that's seen through so many different lenses.
And it's okay to admit you're still learning, too. That shows you're open to growth.
Exactly. Okay, last question for this round. Can you describe a time you worked on a team to create audio descriptions? Teamwork. It's everywhere.
For real. And they want to know you can play nice in the sandbox. Think of any group project, volunteering, even just working on something with family or friends. What was your role? How did you handle disagreements?
It's all about showing them you can collaborate, listen to other ideas, and still get amazing work done together.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right. Now, we've covered a ton of ground, but don't worry. We've got even more insider tips and strategies coming up in part 2 to help you truly rock that interview.
All right, so we've talked about nailing those interview questions, but let's get real for a second.
Okay, get real it is. What else do we need to know to really crush this whole audio description thing?
Well, we need to talk about the work environment itself.
Okay, so paint me a picture. When I think audio describer, I kind of picture a cozy recording studio. Headsets on, lights dimmed, bringing those movie scenes to life.
I get it, and that's definitely part of it, for sure. But the reality is it's way more diverse than that. Like, way more.
Okay, spill the tea. Where else might you find an audio describer hard at work?
Picture this. You could be in a totally dark theater, you feel me?
Oh, yeah.
Capturing the energy of a live show.
Oh, that's cool.
Or maybe you're on location at a sporting event, describing the action as it's happening in real time. You could even be in a museum, for crying out loud, bringing history to life.
Wow, so you have to be ready for anything.
Adaptability is key, my friend.
Got it. So we're talking different environments, different vibes. What about the career paths themselves? Are we talking like a one-track kind of deal here?
Not even close. This field is seriously blowing up, and there are so many ways you can specialize.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. Give me the rundown. What kind of doors can this open?
Think about it. You could be the go-to describer for documentaries, foreign films, animation, you name it. Or you could focus on live events like those theater performances or sporting events we were just talking about.
You're like a specialized artist honing in on your craft. I love it.
Right. And as you get more experience under your belt, those leadership roles start to pop up.
Okay, so you're not just describing anymore. You're running the show.
Exactly. You could be mentoring newbies, even starting your own company. The sky's the limit.
Okay, that's amazing. And I bet RoleCatcher can give some serious insight into those different career options.
100%. It's like having your own personal career counselor right in your pocket.
I'm here for it. All right, shall we jump back into those interview questions? I feel like we left off on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Okay, let's do it. Last one was about teamwork. So how about How do you handle creative differences when you're collaborating on audio descriptions?
Oof, that's a good one.
Right. Because everyone's got their own vision.
Absolutely.
Oh.
How do you suggest approaching this one?
Well, you never want to badmouth anyone you've worked with before, but you can acknowledge that creative differences, they happen. It's natural. Think about a time you faced this maybe on a group project, even in a volunteer role, and how you worked through it.
So it doesn't have to be specifically about audio description, but it shows you can handle those disagreements.
Exactly. Talk about listening to different perspectives, how you maybe even took some of those on board, and how you reached a solution everyone felt good about in the end.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
You got it. All right, ready for another one?
Hit me.
How about this? How do you stay up to date on all the latest technology and trends in audio description?
Oh, that's a big one. Things are changing so fast.
Tell me about it. This is your chance to geek out a little, show them you're passionate and always learning. Do you have any favorite blogs or podcasts, online communities where you connect with other audio describers?
So you're not just keeping up, you're on the cutting edge.
Exactly. And it's not just about the tech either. Think about trends in storytelling, accessibility, all of that.
Because the way we consume media is changing so rapidly.
For sure. And don't be afraid to mention any side projects you're working on, even if it's just experimenting with new software in your free time. It shows that you're truly passionate.
I love that. Okay, this next question's a little more sensitive, but still so important. How would you describe your experience working with people who are blind or visually impaired?
Okay, yeah, this one goes beyond the technical stuff.
Because at the end of the day, you're creating a bridge to the visual world for someone who experiences it differently.
Exactly. Now, you might not have a ton of direct experience, and that's okay. Be honest.
Right, if it's just small interactions, like helping someone cross the street or reading a menu out loud, talk about those and what you learned.
Exactly. It's about approaching it all with respect, a willingness to learn and understand different perspectives.
And if there's something you're not sure about, don't be afraid to ask for clarification or guidance. It shows that you want to get it right.
100%. Okay, ready for a question that often throws people off.
Let's hear it.
What are some of the biggest challenges you anticipate facing as an audio describer, and how would you overcome them?
Oof. Okay, they're trying to trip us up here.
A little bit. But it's a fair question. Every job has its challenges. They just want to know that you're aware of that and ready to tackle them head on.
Okay, so how do we handle this one?
Honesty is key. Don't be afraid to acknowledge the tough stuff. Tight deadlines, technical glitches, the pressure of finding just the right words to paint that picture without, going overboard.
Yeah, you don't want to overwhelm the listener.
Exactly. But after you name those challenges, flip it. Talk about your problem-solving skills. Give an example of a time you overcame something similar. Maybe you're a master at managing your time. Maybe you're super tech savvy and can fix anything.
This is your chance to shine. Show them what you're made of.
Right. Walk them through your process, the steps you took, and how you nailed it in the end.
I'm ready to take on the world. Okay, next question. This one feels like we're looking toward the future. How do you see the role of audio description evolving in this crazy digital world?
Ah, yes, they want to see your vision.
Because the way we watch movies, TV, everything, it's changing so fast.
Yeah. Tell me about it. So, start by talking about that. The rise of streaming, on-demand content, audio description in different languages for a global audience.
That's a whole new world of
It
possibility.
really is. And don't be afraid to get a little futuristic. Think virtual reality, augmented reality, all that cool stuff.
Oh my gosh, yes. Imagine describing those experiences.
Right. So what's your vision? How can audio description make these new technologies even more amazing and accessible?
This is where you show them you're not just along for the ride, you're helping to shape the future.
I love it. Okay, before we move on, can we circle back to something we talked about earlier? The emotional side of being an audio describer.
Yes, absolutely. That's something people don't always think about.
Because you're not just describing what you see, you're describing what you feel.
100%.
And sometimes those emotions can be pretty intense.
It's true. 1 minute you might be describing a scene filled with joy and laughter. The next minute, it could be something really heavy, like grief or loss. So, how do you deal with that emotional roller coaster? Do you have any tips for staying grounded?
Honestly, self-care is huge. Talking to colleagues, taking breaks, remembering that it's okay to ask for support when you need it. Don't bottle it up.
That's such good advice.
Yeah,
It's not weak to admit when something's getting to you.
not at all.
Okay, you ready for one more question?
Let's do it.
This one's about thinking outside the box. Beyond traditional film and television, where else do you see opportunities for audio description to make a real difference?
Ooh, I love this one. This is where you get to dream big.
Because it's not just about movies and TV shows anymore, is it?
Nope. Think museums, art galleries, theme parks, you name it.
What about sporting events?
Yeah?
Imagine listening to the game with amazing audio description.
Right. Or concerts.
The possibilities are endless.
They really are. Don't hold back. Share your wildest ideas. The world needs more people who are passionate about accessibility and making sure everyone can experience these amazing things.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. My brain is officially full.
Mine too.
Okay, so we've talked about the questions, the skills, but now it's go time. What are those little things, those extra credit points that really make you stand out in an audio description interview?
You know, it's funny you should say that. A lot of people think just because it's about the voice that the visual part doesn't matter, but it does.
Oh, interesting. So even if it's a phone interview or a Zoom call, we still need to think about presentation.
Absolutely. Think of it like a vocal warm-up. Hydrate, do a few tongue twisters, maybe hum a little something. Anything to get yourself feeling relaxed and ready to let your voice shine.
Okay, I love that. What about pacing and tone? Is there a secret sauce for really captivating the listener, even if they can't see you?
You know, it's funny. I always tell people to imagine they're telling a story around a campfire. You want to draw the listener in, build a little suspense, use your voice to create a whole world in their mind.
So speak clearly, with energy, even a little bit of drama.
Exactly. Your passion has to come through, even over the phone or through a screen. Oh, and good posture actually makes a difference in how you sound. So sit up straight, relax those shoulders, and let your voice really project.
Now, I've always been terrified of that moment at the end of an interview, when they ask, do you have any questions for me?
Oh, I know what you mean, but honestly, this is your time to shine. Don't waste it with generic questions. Come prepared with something specific to their work, something that shows you did your research.
Okay, so like stalk their website, check out their social media, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Maybe they specialize in a particular genre or use specific software. Asking insightful questions tells them you're proactive and genuinely interested in them.
Okay, I could do that. So we've prepped, we've practiced, we've nailed the interview. What about afterwards? Any advice on the follow-up game?
Always send a thank you note. I know it sounds old school, but trust me, it makes a difference.
So a quick email the next day, just saying thank you and reiterating my excitement about the opportunity.
Exactly, but personalize it. Mention something specific you talked about, maybe a project of theirs that got you really jazzed. Just a little something extra to show them you were really listening and that you're invested.
Okay, I can do that. And, if I need a little help with any of this, from prepping to follow-up, RoleCatcher has my back. It's like having a whole team of career coaches in my pocket.
100%. Look, at the end of the day, landing your dream job, it's a mix of hard work, a whole lot of passion, and that personal touch that shows you're the real deal.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive into the world of audio description. We hope you feel ready to go out there and paint those pictures with your words. Don't forget to check out RoleCatcher to really take your interview game to the next level. Thanks for listening.